Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another video. And today what we'll be going over is my top 5 predictions for Battlefield 6, and as well as that, how it will impact the Battlefield Milsim community. But we'll leave the Battlefield Milsim community to last. I'm going to go over these top 5 things, and I think will happen first. So my first thing is customize a character like BF5. Now, I think we all know that the next Battlefield is going to be modern day. It's pretty much almost confirmed now. If it does suddenly turn out to be something else, then I'd be surprised. I think a lot of people would be surprised, but I think that's highly unlikely. I do think it's going to be modern day, and I think it's just going in that direction, because I think DICE want to really go back to something that they're comfortable with. But customizing a character like BF5, I think that will remain with you. You're going to be able to customize headgear, torso, legs, character. I think that will remain. But as well as that, I think there may be extra steps that you can take in customizing your character. And I don't mean like, facial features like eye width or anything like that, like you can do on Mount and Blade and, these different, games like that. Not into depth like that, but something that's kind of like on Rising Storm 2 Vietnam, where you can also add sunglasses and eyewear and things like that. There may be different types of balaclavas and other facewear and gloves and different things like that, and boots. I think that'll probably be an option, as well as obviously your headgear and different things like that. So I think they add a few other bits in there, not a massive amount, but I think they'll add a few more bits just to make it a little bit more interesting and make customization a little bit more unique to your own character. So the next thing I wanted to go over as well is customized servers. So where you can make your own servers, you can customize your own server for your own experience. Now, I think they will remain free. I think they owe us that, with BF5 being... It was a failure because it didn't really live up to what they said it would be. However, the Battlefield Milsim community has found a way to actually make it more enjoyable and kind of, play it how it could have been, or play it in our own way. They've actually made Battlefield 5 enjoyable. But I feel like the servers will be free. There will be a standard base of servers that will be free. You can, like BF5, you can get on and you can customize your server for free, completely for free, and be able to, make a few changes and things like that. However, I feel because the likelihood of crossplay coming into it, I don't know if crossplay features will be allowed on these free servers, because I feel like that would be very expensive and they would want something back for that. So what I believe is there would be a kind of not a premium, but like an additional features that you can get. If you want those additional features and further customization, you would have to pay for it, just like you paid for servers on Battlefield 1, Battlefield Hardline, and Battlefield 4. I think BF3 as well. BF3 as well. So I feel like to be able to get those additional features and things like that, and crossplay, because I feel like that is probably going to come to BF6 with the amount of people that are saying it, the amount of teasers that are coming out for it. I think you're going to have to pay for that, because that's quite costly to be able to put that feature in. They'll probably want to make some profit back from that. But I think there'll be a base of free servers where people are able to just customize their own servers without having to pay. They just won't be as good as if you were to, pay for a server and get those additional features. However, I still enjoy probably just free servers. I think that's a great direction to go, because obviously then, the community are able to make their own stuff. So I think DICE letting that go and letting the option of making a free server go would be a really big mistake, in my opinion, because I feel like that is really the only reason that Battlefield 5 is still even up, is that people are able to customize their own experiences. So I feel like that, and I feel that's what Battlefield is as well. The custom servers, really, the community servers, are what make Battlefield so unique, with the fact that you have these actual communities, even if they're not milsims, but these like clans, or just in general just communities of people that make their own servers and their own experience that come together, and it keeps it going. So I feel like if they got rid of the free option, with because on Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1 and everything, you would have to pay for the servers, but even then there was loads of communities being made, and now even more communities have been made because the fact that the servers are more affordable now, and more people can actually customize their own experience without having to pay constantly every week or every month. So I feel letting that go would be a very missed opportunity, and would pretty much look as if they're just kind of disregarding the fact that they owe us something to a degree for how bad Battlefield 5 was. Now moving on to my next point, weapon customization. I think Battlefield have been looking at Call of Duty and what they've been doing, such as Modern Warfare and Cold War, and I feel like they're going to take a few ideas from that and put that into Battlefield 6. I feel like weapon customization will kind of take the route of Call of Duty, where you can customize loads of different parts of your weapon, and its sights and different things like that, and the reticule, possibly the reticule, it might not be as intricate as that, but the different, stock, barrel, and different things like that, because you can already do that to a certain degree in Battlefield 5, not massive changes, but you can do that to, a certain point in Battlefield 5, so I think they'll take that a step further on BF6, and go towards how COD have started to do it, where you can, more intricately customize your equipment and your weapons. Now, the most exciting part for me, personally, and I feel, Battlefield community, Milsim community, but as I said, I'll get onto them in a second, is further realism. I think that'll be coming into Battlefield 6, because I know Battlefield isn't the most realistic game, but I feel like as the games are being progressing, they've been getting more and more features that seem more and more realistic. So from Battlefield 4 was reasonably realistic. It has bullet ballistics and different things like that. I don't know if it had bullet penetration though. I'm not 100% sure about that. But I know BF1 did, BF5 definitely does, and it's progressively getting more and more realistic. And the hints towards the servers getting a lot bigger, would obviously mean the maps getting a lot bigger as well. They could really pull out, because large scale battles with loads of people, that would add a large emphasis of realisms of, actual militaristic operations. And I feel like they will add more features, not loads, and it won't become completely realistic like an actual Milsim game. But I feel it will become one step down, just a close, more casual play, able to play a game that is reasonably realistic. A little bit like Insurgency Sandstorm, but obviously not one-shot kill unless custom servers made that, but a little bit like Insurgency Sandstorm, and you can run around, do your own thing with the bullet ballistics and different things like that. I think that's the direction that it will go, just Insurgency Sandstorm on a large scale. I feel like that's the direction that it could go on BF6 as well, and I feel like a lot of people would enjoy that. I personally would, I know a lot of people would, and I feel like the larger community would as well, because it's a completely different experience, and I feel like, what they're trying to step up for is, giving us something new that we've never really had before. And I feel like that's what they have to do, because personally, I think if this game fails, if BF6 fails, this may not be the immediate end of Battlefield, maybe not, but I feel like it will be very much close to the end of the Battlefield franchise, because I think people have lost a lot of faith from Battlefield 5, that if this next game isn't good, that could be it for a lot of the player base. Not everyone, but that could be it. And then the game after that could revitalize it, or it couldn't. And if it doesn't, I think that's it. So I feel like this game is incredibly important, incredibly pivotal, and if it doesn't offer something new, then something new that we haven't seen before, like a different kind of gameplay mechanics and play style, to an extent, it doesn't have to be completely different, but to an extent, just some new things we haven't seen before, then I feel like it could get boring and stagnant pretty quickly, because Battlefield 5 got boring and stagnant pretty quickly. But that's also because of the fact that there wasn't a lot of content coming out with it as well. So it wasn't just the fact that there weren't, loads of new gameplay mechanics. It's just, just the way it is. And my last point is, a lot of the people that like to fly planes might be interested in this. I think there'll be a larger emphasis on aerial combat. And the reasoning behind that is the maps are getting bigger. It's probably going to be in a modern combat setting, of which majority of the fighting is done by air. There's a huge emphasis on aerial combat, drones, airstrikes, different things like that. I think it will really go towards a larger emphasis on aerial combat. And what I mean by that is the amount of altitude you can get, because the maps are going to be significantly bigger if there's going to be this amount of people, like 128 people in servers. They're going to have to be a lot bigger. And I feel like you're going to then need more vehicles. So there'll be more aircraft in the air, probably more variety of aircraft in the air. I think they might introduce drones, personally. I'll get onto that in a second. But I feel like the amount of... I've forgotten the roof, like, the atmospheric roof that you can go, like the limit that you're allowed to fly up to. I think that will be made a lot higher. I personally believe that, because the more vehicles you have, if they're flying at a low altitude all around the infantry, the dogfights aren't going to be especially kind of... They're not really going to be that, epic, if that makes sense. Well, they could be, but I feel like if you want to take on someone else and you want to be just you guys or a group of your friends against enemy aircraft up in the air, you don't want to be flying around the ground where you'll probably get RPG'd or like sniped by the sweat. Like, I don't think, or a tank even, I don't think that would, you'd really want that. It'd be an option. Obviously you can fly low and you'd do that if you wanted to, but I feel like they would raise the altitude level of which you can fly significantly higher, because I feel like, obviously, it's modern combat. These jets can go like very, very high, and I feel like it would, a new modern Battlefield will have developed a lot more than Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3. So, there'll be more features and things like that. So it'll look completely different to Battlefield 4. So, the dogfight on BF4 will look completely different to probably what it will look like on BF6. So that's personally why I think they'll raise the atmospheric max altitude that you can go, so you can fly a lot higher. And on to what I was talking about, drones and stuff like that. With the squad call-ins that you can get on Battlefield 5, I feel like what they'll bring in is kind of, for squad leaders, like airstrikes, so drone strikes, AC-130s in the air, or that will be like how they did it on BF4, where you have to cap a certain objective and get a commander in, and to be able to drop it in, which I think would be a more balanced kind of thing, maybe. I don't know, because we would have to see about that. But I feel like squad call-ins from the squad leader, dropping in an AC-130 or dropping in airstrikes would be incredibly cool. Like airstrikes that don't come from friendly aircraft, but just in general, like how the artillery strikes were done in Battlefield 5. I think that would be very, very cool. And A-10 Warthog runs, different things like that would be very, very cool. And as I said earlier, an interesting new gameplay mechanic to Battlefield. As well as that, just a quick, I know this is basically going on to a sixth point, but I did really want to include this, is adding in artillery. Now, if you haven't played Hell Let Loose, which I played once on a free weekend, I haven't actually purchased it for myself yet, but you can actually play like player-controlled artillery. And I feel like if these maps are getting bigger, there's a possibility of adding in player-controlled artillery. Now, they had player-controlled artillery on Battlefield 1 in the, I think it was French DLC? And maybe the Russian DLC, yeah, you would be able to get on artillery and fire these massive pieces of artillery, these howitzers, across enemy players. And that was what I really enjoyed about those DLCs. They were incredibly fun because of that. I love those DLCs, the In the Name of the Tsar and They Shall Not Pass DLCs, just because I constantly wanted to hop on those howitzers and just get loads of kills. So I feel like if the maps are getting bigger, they like, and from what I've heard is that there'll be FOBs and things like that. They could add in fixed mortars, fixed artillery positions, and you actually have to work with, or knowing Battlefield players, so just solo it on artillery and fire that artillery at enemy players. And I feel like that would be incredibly just. That would just be amazing. That should be like incredibly useful, number one, on the battlefield, and just a completely new gameplay aspect. That's what I was saying earlier, like adding new stuff, like things like that. Just even if it's like personally to me, that's a little thing. That's not a massive thing. It's just adding artillery. But personally to me, that's a little thing. So I'll say little things like that could go a long way, because that is a completely new, different, dynamic way to play the game. Because you can use that to cut off one section of the map and your team pushes the other section. Like, it just completely change matches that you play. So that's my personal opinion on that. You may have different opinions on the fact that it will even come to the game, or if it did, would it be good? Would it be useful? I personally think it'd be great. I think it'd be amazing. which now going into Battlefield Milsim, I think having that in Milsim would be absolutely amazing. Having artillery, just centric artillery Milsim regiments that are just based around artillery, even though I think after a while they'll get pretty boring. But maybe having artillery subdivisions within your Milsims that focus on that, and just the in general airstrikes, all these different things from modern combat all coming together on this BF6 would be absolutely amazing. If all these features came in, would make it absolutely incredible. And what I'm mostly looking forward to is the kind of, foot patrols, in Afghanistan, just patrolling. If it probably isn't going to be an Afghanistan map, but a map like that, desert maps and things like that, that we can portray as Afghanistan or Syria or something like that, just doing our patrols and getting ambushed and things like that. I think it'll be a great experience for Battlefield Milsim, to be honest. I feel like there on BF6 as well, depending on how much popularity my channel gets, as well as other Milsimers channels, Battlefield Milsimers channels get. On BF6, I think Battlefield Milsim could skyrocket. I think loads of people would be interested in it as well if they actually, came and saw what it was, and they came and actually spoke to us and they got involved. I think they would very much enjoy it. And I feel like if these features came in to Battlefield 6, the Milsim community would really have a chance, as well as if they kept the free servers. I feel like that would really help with newer people getting into Milsim, because I remember on Battlefield 1, on Battlefield 4 people didn't really complain, but on Battlefield 1 a lot of people didn't want to make Milsims and things like that. The community wasn't exactly big, and the main reason was the fact that the prices of the servers were really too expensive for some people. Luckily not for me, I was pretty fortunate like that, but for some people really couldn't afford it, and it was really unfortunate, and our community didn't really grow to where it could have been and where we could have taken it. So I'm very happy that they brought in a feature where servers are able to be made free and people can access them for free, so the more people can get involved in making their own Milsims or making their own custom experiences for when they play Battlefield. But anyway, that's it for me, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, as well as that turn on the notification bell for any other videos that I do upload. And also please share this with your friends or anyone that you feel would be interested. And I'll see you in the next one.